This movie is about signal flow. Whatever audio device you're working with, from a simple direct box to a multi-channel console, it's important to understand how the sound passes through Pro Tools. Let's go back to Setup, Hardware. Here's my M-Box. I'm going to launch its control panel, and over here in the Flow tab, they've given us a nice graphical depiction of how the sound starts, enters Pro Tools, gets processed, and then output again. Some people are visual learners, and this probably helps because the other way that Pro Tools shows us is not graphical at all. So let me close that. I'll hide my M-Box. I'm going to the I/O, input output, with a slash between them. We talk about the I/O in Pro Tools a lot, so let's take a look. Several tabs across the top. Let's start at input. Think back to our diagram we just looked at. The sound comes in and gets processed over here, and then there's an output. Depending on the hardware that's attached, you're going to have lots of different choices here. Likewise for output, bus, and insert. If you want to tab through these without hitting the keys, it's Command and right arrow on a Mac, Control and right and left arrows on a PC. Inputs. Examples are microphones, musical instruments like guitars and basses, keyboards, turntables, things that would send audio signals into Pro Tools. Outputs. Examples are speakers, which in the world of audio production we call monitors, and headphones. We can also output digitally to other devices. That's what SPDIF is all about. We'd be sending a non-analog signal, a digital signal. Sony Philips Digital Interface is what that all stands for. And it's a way to send the file digitally from one box to another. Buses. When you want to send multiple signals to the same place, you put them on a bus. Inserts. Inserts are things that come between the input and the output. Examples are reverbs, delays, compressors, other types of digital sound processing gear. And sometimes we put the insert on a track, and sometimes we put it on a bus. Preamps. This would be a digital patch bay where you could set up your Pro Tools routing. Let me jump back to the PDF for what's new in Pro Tools 12. Now let's remember that this whole I/O thing has changed quite a bit in Pro Tools 12. Rather than me reading you the entire 7 pages here of how it's changed, I think this is good homework for you. The important thing is that now mappings are saved both with the system and the session. You have a choice, and this tells you what your defaults are. When you open the session, it'll give you this window so that you can make the changes that are appropriate for what you want to do. Back in the old days, we would open a session and Pro Tools would ask you whether you wanted to use the playback engine that was saved with the session or with the system. It was very complicated and not intuitive at all. Here's my shortcut advice on this. When you find settings that are working for you, export them. This will export them to the correct place. They go into the I/O settings, and there are already some there that Pro Tools put there as part of the installation. So just go ahead and save my custom whatever here. I've already saved my M-Box Basic. In case something happens and this gets all messed up, then you would go import, jump back there, and import the one that you know works, and that should fix your problem and you'll be up and running again. Now this is new to Pro Tools 12, applied to all tabs. If you import those settings from that file, it will only import the active tab. Now, they've done it so that you can import them and apply to all tabs. You may not want that. You may only want the input and the output and not the bus and the inserts. So you have a lot of options here for how you can retrieve that information from a known good file if your file has been corrupted. Go ahead and export your settings, give it a good name, and then hang on to that file because you might need it sometime.